Hello friends, this is Terry here on the river in snow in April, and we are fully immersing now into that eclipse portal. We're soaking in it, and this is your Scorpio blood moon lunar eclipse for 2022. And I'm here on a bridge over troubled waters to talk to you all about the huge transformative changes to come this month. Your Scorpio blood moon total lunar eclipse that's happening on May 15th to May 16th, depending where you live. And I'm here in Bend, Oregon, where we just had a bunch of snow here in April, and I had just recorded my last reports with that Venus-Jupiter lucky kiss, and it was almost 80 degrees at heat. We broke heat records for April in Bend, and now we have this snowstorm. So it's a little crazy that we're definitely in the eclipse portal now. Lots of fast moving changes with that Taurus and Uranus. And this Scorpio total lunar eclipse can be a very emotionally intense full moon. And I'm going to tell you about all the transits and all the aspects affecting us on this moon. And if you are a Scorpio, I would love to know. I'd just love to know how many Scorpios we have here, or how many of you have planets in Scorpio, because you will be deeply affected. Or if your North Node is in Scorpio, for those of you born in 1976, I know you guys have Scorpio North Node. You will really be feeling this one, and I'm going to be feeling it. I am a Scorpio with a stellium of planets. I've got my Sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury in Scorpio, so I'm soaking in it with you. And I'd just like to see how many Scorpio people we have here today. Blood moons have always been full of this evil lurking lore, and a lot of people historically have been very scared of a blood moon eclipse like the one we are going to have on May 15th, 16th. And then there's a lot of people who are deeply afraid of Scorpios too. I feel like Scorpios get the worst rap in astrology. Whenever you tell somebody you're a Scorpio, it's almost like they take a step back in fear. And so there is a lot of fear that can be coming up with this blood moon in Scorpio. And in Ayurvedic astrology, they would say, do not look at this eclipse. And most of us can't see it here in America anyways, but if you can see it, it's not a great eclipse for viewing. And in Ayurvedic astrology, they believed that the demon Rahu would be drinking an elixir of immortality, and then the twin deities of the sun and the moon were trying, they decapitated Rahu. They tried to make it so that he wouldn't be immortal. But when they decapitated Rahu, because Rahu had already consumed the elixir of mortality, Rahu was just this severed head that was still alive. I mean, that's pretty freaky. And Rahu's head remained immortal, and he chased down the sun and the moon, and he swallows the moon at a blood eclipse. This is what they believe in Ayurvedic astrology. And so the blood of the moon, the red appearance, is really Rahu's severed head bleeding with the moon in his neck. I mean, if that doesn't just give you nightmares. And then, of course, the Mayans always believed that the red blood moon eclipse was a time when the jaguar was attacking the moon and the moon was bleeding. So there's just been a lot of lore that these blood moons are, have a sense of evil. And in ancient times, they would say, hide your kings and hide your pregnant women, because the evil would come for kings and pregnant women. And so this Scorpio blood moon can really bring up, it's kind of like a thriller, a double thriller really, because it can bring up a lot of fears and anxiety around it being a blood moon eclipse, but also a lot of fear and obsessive compulsive thinking that is Scorpio. So this moon may just invoke fear in us all. I just moved our location because we had some really loud mating flickers and stellar jays combined with these ominous turkey vultures flying overhead where we were. And if that's not Scorpio, sex and death, I don't know what is. But this Scorpio blood moon eclipse may really reveal some secrets now, because secrets are ruled by Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio. And there can be a lot of mental health crisis with this blood moon eclipse in Scorpio, and we are already seeing that as we enter this eclipse portal. And maybe you're having some incredible transformative psychological dreams. This blood moon could be a fun time to take some kava tincture. I just got some herb farm kava tincture to take just to have the dreams and see what downloads I will get with this eclipse portal. I highly recommend herb farm kava. And this full moon brings an ending or a culmination. Full moons are always about letting go, but particularly when it's an eclipse in Scorpio, who rules over death, we can really see some things just coming to a close, something dying, something ending, a culmination, and just let it go. Don't try to hold on. Scorpio doesn't like to lose and can become really obsessive compulsive. And this can be a time when you even lose something, like you can't find your phone, you can't find your keys, you leave something behind, and you have to let it go. Don't get obsessed about your possessions. Although Scorpios, if you know Scorpios, they are very possessed about their obsessions, from a crystal that they can't find to their car keys to their phone. So there could be this real obsession about losing things and finding things at this eclipse moon. And some doors may be closing at this eclipse portal, and it's just making way for other doors to open. And there may be this coming back to something you were trying to do, and there were too many obstacles in your way, and now the door swings open again and the opportunity comes up again. Maybe an opportunity that passed you by, or a job that passed you by, or a relationship that passed you by. It's coming back, and this time it's more available to you. And if you're finding that you have a lot of obstacles showing up for you, this is a good time to chant to the god Ganesh, the elephant god. I'll put a picture in here. And you can pray to Ganesh to remove any obstacles in your way of manifesting what you're trying to do or going forward. And Ganesh, of course, can take away the obstacles because he is the one who put the obstacles there to begin with. So I have always had this painting of Ganesh in my massage healing space, and I'm very connected to him. And I think he's such a Scorpio kind of Hindu god, and just putting in these obstacles, and then you have to pray to have him remove them. And this Scorpio eclipse can just come in like a giant ocean wave. Of course, Scorpio is ruled by water. We're here on the water today, and Mars has now entered Pisces, indicating there are stormy seas ahead. And if you've ever done any body surfing, you know when that giant ocean wave hits you, you've got to just go with the flow. You can't fight it. If you try to swim against the tide, you will drown. And so if you're feeling just an ocean wave of emotion or intensity or transformation coming at you, all you can do is just surrender and ride that wave back to the shore. And I wish I was on the beach right now. We really wanted to go to the beach for this the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction that we recently had, but the Pacific Northwest just got hit with all these snowstorms, and so we just have to accept the nature where you can find it. And this is a really good eclipse portal to get out into nature and do that earthing, putting your feet into the ground in the mud. And Taurus rules the earth, and this Scorpio blood moon eclipse will be opposite Taurus sun. We're on that Taurus Scorpio axis for the whole year, for all the eclipses in 2022. And so when you're feeling that ocean wave is carrying you out to sea, if you're being pulled into the undercurrent, remember to put your feet into the earth. Get out in nature and ground and root down, and that will just bring you back to balance. If you find that someone or something is leaving you at this eclipse portal, you have to just let it go. Welcome the change, even if it's hard. I think a lot of people, especially Scorpios, especially Taurus, are going to be going through some intense change that may involve some kind of loss, making way for a new path ahead. And you'll want to cling to whatever is ending, if it's a job that's ending or a relationship that's ending, or maybe you're having to move, you're forced to move. You'll want to just cling to it, because Scorpio doesn't like to let go, but you have to let go and just trust that something is coming. And this can show up for you wherever Scorpio is in your chart. We all have Scorpio somewhere in our chart. So if Scorpio shows up in your career, it could be a loss of job. If Scorpio is in your house of relationships, your house of home, somewhere there may be some kind of loss. And we have that earthy Taurus sun opposing this intense watery moon. And what happens when you put water and earth together? You get the mud. We're soaking in the mud. We're already soaking in the mud. And if you feel like you're just stuck in the muck for this Scorpio eclipse portal, just remember the lotus that blooms out of that muddy, mucky energy every spring. And we are like the lotus now, being stuck in this mud of this Scorpio Taurus water earth axis, but we will rise up and bloom like the lotus. And this psychologically transformative Scorpio blood moon eclipse is going to bring you to a higher level, and you have to just trust that things will get better for you, just as the lotus trusts the mud and the muck that it will bloom. This eclipse can even bring you into a higher financial level, as Scorpios are so good at manifesting money. And they rule the 8th house of sex, death, and money. But it can also be taxes. Of course, we're here in April now as I record this. And I know as a Scorpio myself, I just paid a bunch of taxes from my abundance, from all the manifesting I did in 2021. And you just have to be grateful for this tax bill, because it's an affirmation of all the wealth that you've made, right? And with abundance comes taxes. And this is 8th house Scorpio in action right there. And this Scorpio full moon is also opposite Uranus in Taurus, who's been very activated by this eclipse portal on this Taurus Scorpio axis. And Uranus is causing so many unexpected earth events. As I'm sitting here in the snow in April, just 1 week after we had that record-breaking heat wave in the Pacific Northwest. But actually we're getting off easy, because other parts of the world there's tornadoes, hurricanes, and floods. And this powerful, intense Scorpio blood moon opposite this Uranus in Taurus can cause deep emotional wounds to rise to the surface now. And it may even cause some relationship turmoil that's not even about your relationship, but more about your own issues coming up now. So just be mindful on this moon about how you react to others, because emotionally charged decisions could turn minor disagreements into total chaos with this eclipse. And chaos seems to be the theme for the year, as I recorded in the 9-star key astrology report for 2022, this is a year of chaos, and we will really be at the culmination of this chaos now. So be careful with your emotions at the Scorpio blood moon eclipse. I know Scorpios can get carried away with their emotions and just burn it all down, and there can be this sensation of just wanting to end things or make, important decisions. Never make important decisions on an eclipse time, I tell you, especially this one. This one has such volatile energy with this Uranus in Taurus opposite this eclipse. So, this could be a better time to just spend some time alone and really taking time out, doing the journal writing, taking a bath. Just go away from others if you're feeling emotionally charged at this time, and try to keep your focus on what is your true intentions of what you really want, and don't go chasing shiny things that will lead you down the wrong path at this time, because once again we have a moon where you should stay away from any intoxicants. This is a moon to avoid alcohol, avoid drugs. You're going to want to have a clear mind and keep your wits about you so you can navigate the transformation as it's occurring. And it won't be easy to have your wits about you because we have Neptune in Pisces sextile to this entire eclipse. And remember, Neptune in Pisces can cause confusion and delusion, and this will make us feel even more emotionally sensitive and, again, highly intuitive. We're going to have some incredible intuitive downloads, and this would be a good time for channeling creativity, but not necessarily a good time to be looking at your life clearly, because this is that Alice in Wonderland imaginative aspect that has been Neptune in Pisces for all year. And it's an imaginative energy, but now combined with this total lunar eclipse in Scorpio that's so emotionally intense. We've got these two major water sign aspects. It can feel like we're drowning. And it can also feel like we're in a scary hall of mirrors with this eclipse. There's a lot of confusion and things are not looking or feeling the way they really are. So fear, negativity, and scarcity can really rise up to the surface now and coming up strong just out of nowhere. And you'll have to fight those fear, scarcity, negativity emotions with love and joy, as I talked about last time with John Batiste is such a good example of this Scorpio Taurus axis. He's going through a lot of turmoil with his wife being sick, but he still finds joy. And I loved what he was saying about how even in difficult times, joy is always available to us, especially when you get out in nature. So really try to get out in nature for this blood moon eclipse. This would be a great blood moon eclipse for a nature full moon hike, and to just get out in nature, put your feet on the earth, ground, root down, and try to stay in your heart space and not give in to the fear and the negativity and the other tumultuous emotions that want to rise to the surface. It could be a good time for healing or therapy, but just don't give in to the negativity and the fear that will be so prevalent with this full moon. And when I say you have to fight the negativity with love and joy, I'm not meaning in that toxic positivity way, but I'm talking about going deep into your heart space and getting really tuned in to a higher love vibration to combat your deepest fears that may be rising to the surface now. And just treat your fears like a small child having a nightmare. Acknowledge the fear, pain, or bad feelings. And you might even want to write down your feelings now and just listen to that inner child that has the fear, anxiety, and turbulent emotions. And then gently coax those fears back to sleep, like you would a child, maybe leaving a nightlight on or lighting a candle in the dark. And what is our deepest fear now? Tell me your deepest fears in the comment. If you tell me your deepest fear in the comment, I will give you a free Scorpio blood moon eclipse mini reading. I promise. It'll be fun. And maybe it's like Marianne Williamson said, our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, or fabulous? I love that quote. And Mars will conjunct Neptune in Pisces exact on May 18th, just after this eclipse. But we're already feeling it with this eclipse. And this can indicate a confused warrior, Mars, the warrior, meeting Neptune in Pisces, confusion. We've got confused warrior. And we are definitely seeing this in Ukraine right now. Or maybe it's a spiritual, wounded warrior healer with that Chiron and Aries still showing up so strong in May. And this is a time to tap into your divine light once again. Just like when we had that Jupiter conjunct Neptune. But Mars brings an ambition and an urgency to our spiritual enlightenment now. We've got to transcend the bullshit and truly focus on our soul's grand ambitions, our soul mission, our deep desires for fulfillment. And sometimes people may think that Pisces are a little bit selfish. But I think Pisces, being the last sign of the zodiac, has just figured out what it wants. And Pisces in the 12th house is an old soul on their way to enlightenment. And it doesn't have time for this bullshit, mundane, stupid stuff. So Pisces and Neptune conjunct Mars is not going to let anyone get in the way of getting their goal of true enlightenment. Just like when someone is on their deathbed, suddenly life comes into focus about what is the most important thing. And it's love. It's giving love and being loved. So this transit can feel like time is running out to get what you want most out of this one precious life. And the time to focus now on your desires and put your energy into making it all happen right now. There is an urgency with this blood moon eclipse. So no pressure. Anyways, Mars does not exactly do well in Pisces, as Mars likes to take action. But Pisces is so ethereal, dreamy, and otherworldly. And Mars rules Aries, the baby of the zodiac, who has lots of fast-moving energy. And here, when Mars is in that 12th house, it's a much slower energy. It's time for this warrior to take a respite, to take a nap, to meditate, to get clarity before he continues on into Aries next, where Mars will be in full force, forging ahead again. And this Mars-Neptune conjunction is trining this blood moon in Scorpio. And so trines, remember, are all about opportunities. So something new, a new fabulous opportunity could show up for you effortlessly with this eclipse portal, and just be open to new opportunities. This is a say yes kind of time, and it could just show up in some mystical, magical way, and you won't have to go looking for it. And Mars will be sextile the north node and trine the south node. And so opportunities to make changes and let go of the past and move forward in a new life. Maybe it's a new job, new relationship, new, bigger, better home. And this can be a time of stepping into a bigger role now, becoming that fabulous self that Marianne Williamson talks about fearing. But you can really own your power with this sextile trine from Mars and Neptune. And you might even have like a profound shift in consciousness that comes from this, or finding a deeper love connection and just getting connected to people and making new friends. And the opportunity can, of course, rule over that 8th house, Scorpio, sex and sex and money. So it could be that you get this new opportunity to make a bunch of money, or you could have this incredible love connection with mind-blowing sex. So the 8th house in Scorpio can be a fun place to have opportunities or money that comes from other people. You could inherit a bunch of money right now. And Neptune sextile the North nodes in Scorpio asks us to listen to spirit now and let spirit guide us to find our next path, to lead us on our destiny. It can be such a great exercise, like they talk about in the Course of Miracles, to ask spirit, who should I call today? What should I do today? And listen to a higher voice that guides you on your path, instead of always trying to forge forward with thinking you know what's the best path ahead. Get some guidance, listen to the wind, let other influences receive the download, channel the energy from somewhere else. I do this a lot with the Bend Health Guide. I always say I don't get to make the decisions when I'm publishing this magazine. Spirit is always guiding me to that this person's going on the cover, or that's going to be featured, and I just listen to spirit. And we have some great features this issue that just came to me from listening to spirit, and I love that. So I encourage you on this Scorpio blood moon eclipse to really let spirit guide your path, and know that you don't have to make the decisions. You can ask for a higher being to come through and just channel the energy to take those next steps forward. And Saturn in Aquarius will be in a square to this eclipse. And Saturn in Aquarius, fixed sign, squaring Scorpio, fixed sign. This is a very diamond making pressure eclipse for all the fixed signs, as I've been talking about all year. It felt like all of 2021 and all of 2022 has been this Saturn squaring in the fixed signs. So Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, we are all feeling the big changes coming, and the pressure to make a change, and the pressure to succeed, and the pressure to do all the diamond, we're becoming diamonds, like diamonds are made under pressure. And so all of us fixed signs are feeling the pressure, and it's going to really show up with this eclipse as well. And this is about coming into your transformational power, doing something more with your life. And it's also about those karmic lessons. Of course, Saturn rules over karma. So this is like deep soul lessons you can't escape. And they're showing up now in a big way with this eclipse. And we've also got Pluto, who rules over Scorpio, who's now retrograde in Capricorn. And that's also bringing up these karmic lessons and really asking us to heal our inner child, heal our deepest wounds that are coming to the light now. And it's also calling for a major evolution. Pluto rules transformation and evolution of our world. And the change in our world begins with a change in ourselves. So that is all the lessons of Pluto in this retrograde, so intense. And the evolution of our world, it's happening now, right before our eyes. And the urgency is really coming from that Uranus in Taurus that's opposite the Scorpio. And there's just this explosive energy. It's coming from all these powerhouse planets coming in so strong. So just try to keep calm and carry on, as they say, as everything may be erupting around you on this Scorpio lunar eclipse, especially for the fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. This is really, you're going to be really feeling some transformative big feels on this one. So please remain seated with your seatbelts on. We're about to hit some real turbulence here with this eclipse, but don't worry, we will be landing shortly into a new, better world, a new Earth. And we will have this golden renaissance. There is a golden renaissance that is coming, I promise you. And there will be a fairy tale happy ending. But right now, it's like we are in that conflict part of the story. You know, like any good movie or book, there's always this part of the book where there's extreme conflict. And that's sort of where we are with this Scorpio blood moon eclipse. We're going to have the conflicts really coming to the forefront now. But in most movies, the conflict does get resolved and then there is a happy ending at the end. So just, you know, push through and know, just keep reading this book. It's going to get better. And we will have that rebirth and the resolution to come. And we also have Mercury, who's retrograde now. Mercury went retrograde on May 2nd, and it's now going back into Taurus, where it will sextile Jupiter. That Jupiter is just entering Aries, and Jupiter's in Aries at 0 degrees. And it's a critical degree of new beginnings. Remember, Aries begins that whole zodiac wheel. And I'm really sad to see Jupiter leave Pisces, because Jupiter in Pisces was really good for those of us water signs. And Jupiter in Pisces was just so happy there. Jupiter moving into Aries, sextile Mercury, retrograde in Taurus, will have us reconsidering, reevaluating, and reformulating our path ahead as we begin something new. And so many people fear Mercury retrograde. I hear this all the time. My clients are like, oh no, it's Mercury retrograde. But I did a whole video about how to align with the energy of Mercury retrograde, and you can use a Mercury retrograde for some great times for reflection, rejuvenation, and renewal. Just think of all those beautiful RE words that you like as we prepare for this rebirth that I swear is coming this year in 2022. And think of all the positive RE words you can, and leave some positive RE words in the comments for me. Maybe make a list of them. And it's not so bad remembering that you have so many blessings at this time, and hitting a refresh button now as we do this Mercury retrograde, sextile Jupiter. Remember, sextiles are positive, so this is a positive transit for this eclipse time. And then the powerhouse planets of Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. Remember, they're all traveling together. I did that recording about Venus and Jupiter coming together for a lucky kiss conjunction, and you can find that transit. I'll link to it in this video, but you can find it here on my channel. And that was a really good conjunction, and Venus, Mars, and Jupiter are sort of traveling together in a threesome right now, and they will all one by one conjunct that Chiron in Aries. And I will probably do separate transit readings for each one. First it will be Venus conjunct Chiron in Aries, then it will be Mars conjunct Chiron in Aries, and then finally Jupiter conjunct Aries. And this is going to really bring up that Chiron and Aries transit return that so many people are having right now. Chiron in Aries is that wounded warrior, healer. And if you were born between 1968 and 1976, you are having a powerful Chiron in Aries return. I am a Chiron in Aries myself. I have Chiron in Aries myself, and I have definitely been feeling this transit. I did a whole separate report on Chiron in Aries because it's so intense. We're right here by close to a cave, and I always think of Chiron living in that cave as this wounded warrior healer. And when Venus first conjuncts Chiron in Aries, it's going to bring up all the wounds of our heart, those old love wounds that maybe you haven't healed. It's all going to be coming to the surface. And then when Mars conjuncts Chiron, it's going to be coming in hot, because Mars is the ruler of Aries and Chiron is exalted in Aries. They're both going to really be feeling a lot of passion and emotion and ambition around healing. This is actually an interesting time because the wellness industry is one of the fastest growing industries in the world right now. And I think that we are all looking for that healing, that wellness. And Mars conjunct Chiron and Aries is like an explosion of the wellness industry. And just like in the 70s when health food stores first were opening and yoga studios, and there was this emergence of healing and health, and we are seeing that coming again now with Chiron and Aries once again. And then when Jupiter conjuncts Chiron and Aries, it's going to expand the healing even more. So much healing energy, so much healing light. And I am right now writing a book about Reiki, and I think it's so interesting because Reiki was first discovered by Mikao Usui 100 years ago, and that was also in a Chiron and Aries return. So there's a real reemergence of Reiki right now as well with this Chiron and Aries transit, and it's really going to become powerful. I'm kind of thinking I might want to publish my Reiki book on one of these Chiron conjunctions. Maybe Chiron conjunct Jupiter would be a really good day to publish. But anyways, when these major powerhouse planets all conjunct that Chiron and Aries transits, our wounds will really be coming up to be healed. And as Rumi said, the wound is the place where the light enters you. So do not be afraid of your wounds. Just let your wounds be opened once again. It's like an old scar that's now being reopened, and the light is coming in, and just allow the light to heal you now. We're getting so much energy, lots of wounds, but lots of light energy coming in to heal those wounds now. And this is a time when healers are gonna be busy again. I know my May is already completely booked out solid, and I'm feeling that people are really seeking healing as well too. So if you are a healer, this is a good time to be a healer and put your services out in the world. You have like 2 more weeks to get in the Bent Health Guide if you wanted to. But the world is really seeking these deeper healing modalities now with this Chiron and Aries. It's going to be just lit up all of May. And the Sabian symbol for this blood moon eclipse at Scorpio of 23 degrees is a rabbit metamorphosized into a nature spirit. And I told you this is an Alice in Wonderland kind of eclipse, and we have rabbits and everything. The raising of animal drives to a higher level. And the rabbit is traditionally a symbol of an overabundance of progeny, thus of great stress on procreative and sexual processes. So Scorpio. And the nature spirits, on the other hand, represent the higher aspect of life energies, as they are said to guide those normally invisible forces controlling the growth of all living organisms, particularly the vegetable kingdom. Thus, this symbol refers to a transmutation of the regenerative power into a more ethereal and subtle form of energy. And the course can become subtle through a process of transubstantiation. This is when the body and blood of Christ are converted into symbols of bread and wine. And how perfect is this symbol for the blood moon eclipse? Perhaps the blood of this Scorpio lunar eclipse is the blood of Christ. Wow, I'm recording this right before Easter, and I have to get these eclipse videos out early because so many of you are already asking about this powerful Scorpio lunar eclipse. And so the rabbit is just perfect for this Easter time. And my neighbor has this very free range rabbit. who usually lives in our front yard eating our grasses and flowers, and Rabbit is my peach flower luck in the 9-star key astrology, as it is for all dogs in Chinese astrology. So I will take this rabbit as a sign of hope and luck, and we can all have faith as Scorpios learn to have, even in times of confusion and deep transformation. You just gotta have faith. And I'm going to send you all some distance river Reiki and an energy clearing on this report. And check out my latest Distance Reiki for Abundance video, where I am offering free personal distance Reiki if you comment. And I thank you all for your support of my growing healing channel. I feel your presence. I love your comments and your support. And I give it all back to you with Reiki multiplied for your highest healing good. Thank you, and have a wonderful Scorpio lunar eclipse. We'll get through this eclipse portal together.